Guys, this is Lisa with your weekly Lyrical Aspirations inspirational message. So, today I want to talk all about you. That's right. Today we are going to talk about standing in your power and standing in your power strongly. Now, the first thing that I want you to understand is that you must stop giving your power away. We do it way too much in this life. See, you have to start learning how to treat yourself with more kindness, with more acceptance, and with more love. Now, there's a couple of things that we're going to keep in mind as we go down this journey of finding, acknowledging, and maintaining your own power. And that is one, guys, we got to stop looking to others to define who we are and who we are not. Only you know you the best. So, how are we allowing other people to define us? We should be looking at ourselves, understanding ourselves well enough. If somebody comes to us with some garbage about us, then we stand strong in it. We don't worry about what other people are trying to define us as. We stand strong in who we are, period. Another thing that you must keep in mind is that we got to stop wasting our time worried about what other people think about us. When we focus on what everybody else thinks about us, we fail to take the time to know what we think about us. We are putting way too much power in other people's thoughts. That's not standing in your power, that's standing in their power. And lastly, guys, you have to start valuing yourself from a true, genuine place. That makes it easier for the other people in your life to not only see your value, but to acknowledge it and appreciate and respect it. But if you don't have your own value about yourself strong, how do you expect anybody else to have it for you? You haven't even created it. That's like asking for opportunity to knock on a door that you never even built. It's time to take the reins back of how you look at yourself, and you need to gather power. Now, how? How do you start to gather power and stand strong within it? That is the big question. And I'm going to go over just a couple of things that you want to start to think about as you start to build this power in yourself. But trust and believe it's not the only things that you can do to build that power. So I highly recommend that you go out and you do a little bit of some research online about how you can stand within your own power. So let's talk about kind of three main areas that you can start to build that power up inside of yourself. The first thing that you must learn is acceptance. Now, what I mean by that is acceptance is truly the golden pathway to empowerment, because once you start accepting yourself, then all the other people around you have no choice but to do that. By accepting yourself, you are giving yourself the gift of personal strength. So you must start looking at yourself. Look at your flaws. Look at your strengths. Look at the things that you've been through, the times that you fail, all of the things that make you who you are, and accept it. Accept that you are not perfect. You have things that you still yet need to learn. But that does not mean that you can't look at yourself and accept you for who you are. You can accept you for who you are at this moment at the same time as looking to who you want to be in the future. You can still accept where you are currently, even if you see a future version of yourself that you want to go towards. Now, when you can accept you, well, now that opens up the opportunity for you to start being able to accept other people. And that does go hand in hand with standing in your own power. Because once you can accept you, and then you can accept others, now you are showing the people in your life what type of relationships you want to have. You want relationships of acceptance, good or bad. I am who I am, and you're either going to accept it or not. That's standing in your power. But you must be able to accept others as well for who they are. So be fair in that sense. If you want people to accept you for who you are, you must be you must be willing to accept them for who they are. So now we move past acceptance and now we're going to move into freedom. Now, when I talk about freedom, that is, okay, let's just say that on your most challenging day, it is real easy for your thoughts to start creating a storyline and telling a story that might not be true, that might be focused on just the negative aspects of that challenging day. But when I talk about freedom, what if you became free from those self debilitating thoughts like that? You know, say everything goes wrong, and now you're in this mental state of like, well, I guess I don't even deserve happiness. Ooh, child, what? What if you accepted that, hey, this happened, but I have freedom from being trapped in the consistent thought of that failure or whatever it is that you're looking at that you don't look at highly? What if you changed the narrative? What if you changed the story? See, once we free ourselves from the stories that we feel stuck within, we create new stories that feel right and lead us to empowerment, lead us to the power that we have within ourselves. But we have to free ourselves from those stories. As an example, if your family didn't treat you good growing up, and that keeps you in this mindset of, if my own family couldn't treat me good, nobody else is going to treat me good either. Free yourself from that story. That story is not true. That story is not true. The things that you have been through help you. They help you to become wiser, to become stronger, to be able to be a support figure for other people. The things that you go through, good or bad, they do that for you. Do not allow yourself to live within a story that is in the past, a story that is for your betterment. Don't get trapped up in the negativity of our lives. It's okay to self reflect. It's okay to look at it and say, where did I go wrong? Why did I fall the way that I did in this particular situation? But do not live there. That is not a story in which you should live in. The story in which you should live in is that I am an ever evolving person. That means that the story that was written today is going to be a little bit different than the story that presents itself tomorrow. And so free yourself from those chains of your thoughts. Now, the last thing that you can do to start standing in your own power, so many people need to hear this. You got to start taking care of you. Some people think that they are like holy saints or something because they go out here and they give everything they have to everybody else, but fail to do it for themselves. Truth be told is that even if you ride in an airplane, they tell you to put your mask on before you try to put somebody else's on. You cannot be a support figure for somebody else if you haven't even learned how to support and be a figure for yourself. You have to do a little bit of self-care. And when you start doing self-care, that lets everybody around you know that I'm out here trying to take care of myself and I'm not going to deal with any foolishness that doesn't serve my higher good. So start taking care of yourself. And there's a couple of things that I do that I'll share with you that I, perform on a regular basis to help myself take care of myself. If these don't resonate with you, then I would recommend you go online, Google self-care, figure out things that you can do to start taking better care of yourself. So the first thing that I do is, as some of you may know, I am a poet. So obviously I write. Writing to me is a release that helps me. In addition, it may help me at that moment just by getting those thoughts and those feelings out. But I have the opportunity now that I've written something down to be able to go back to it a week from then, a month from then, years from then. And now I can look at it and say, whoa, I see the mental place that I was in at that moment, but look at how much I've grown. And unless you write something down and really document where you are mentally, your mind is not going to necessarily remember. So write things down, whether it be with poetry or journaling, whatever the case is, write it down so that you can reflect back on it and understand how far you've come. Another thing that I do is just having a really small group of trusted individuals that I really can talk to about anything and not have them come from a judgmental place towards me. So make sure that you know who that handful of people is, or maybe it's not a handful of people, maybe it's one person, but know who that person is that you can really talk to and really be who you are and really be honest about what you're feeling. You know, being able to get that off on somebody else is helpful just to be able to speak it out. If you don't have somebody in your life that you truly at this point feel would look at you from a non judgmental way, then I recommend that you go to a counselor and do that same thing. But make sure that you have somebody that you can kind of bounce these things off of where you can speak them. Sometimes when you speak things out loud, you realize either how amazing they are or how foolish they are. So make sure that you're talking to different people. Another thing that you have to do is you got to get more sleep. Take care of yourself. You know, I see that people are consistently staying up late, not getting enough sleep, running themselves ragged, not understanding that it takes time to rejuvenate your body between each day. So make sure that you're taking time to rest. In addition, make sure that you're taking time to move. And what I mean by that is just implement a little bit of exercise. It doesn't have to be extreme, but just do a little something. You know, it could be for 15 or 20 minutes. Just do a little something, get those endorphins going. Another thing that I do to really take care of myself is limiting screen time. And when I say screen time, I mean television, social media, the internet. Honey, YouTube is like a rabbit hole that you just slip down and you end up staying there for hours. So make sure that you're limiting yourself on screen time because when you look at things on the screen or on social media, it can really affect the way that you're seeing the world or the way that you're seeing a particular situation. And what I mean by that is, say that you go on Facebook and there is a tragedy that's happened. Well, everybody is posting about it. So there's nowhere that you can go, not on your news feed. People are talking about it, everything. So just limit yourself on those types of things so that you are, one, not overwhelmed with everything that's going on those platforms, but also that you are not swayed by them or brought into a particular mental state or spiritual state that you can't pull yourself out of. And lastly, I don't know. This one is kind of important, but it's something that I think we all are a little bit challenged with, and that is saying no when you mean no. We got a lot of people pleasers out there. I definitely have been one in my life. But the thing is that if you feel inside of your heart that you should reply no to something, stand strong by it. That's standing in your power. That's understanding that in this particular situation, I need to say no to that. And an example of that might be, okay, maybe you're a person that people call on when they're having a situation going on, and you kind of always run, or you're always there on the phone. But let's say that you're just about to go to bed and you got that friend that's just like always just going on and on about a particular situation and you're always there for them and that's a wonderful thing. But if that night you're tired, you got things you got to do in the morning, it's okay to say I can't talk right now. It's okay because that person still has to stand strong in what they're going through as well. You cannot run yourself ragged for everybody else because I promise you, they're not going to run themselves ragged for you. So you got to start standing strong in your power. And when you feel the need to say no, say it and stand strong by it. Don't let people guilt trip you into changing how you feel about a particular situation. If you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel like it's right to say yes, stand strong in your no. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to other people, and it's okay to say no to yourself. Now, with that said, guys, I want you to understand that if you choose the things you can commit to doing regularly, the self care things that you can do regularly for yourself, then they'll start to become a habit. You won't even have to think about it anymore. When it comes to me writing or journaling or anything like that, I don't even think about it. I don't even think like, oh, let me get my journal out so I can stand strong in my power and write down my feelings. And I don't even think about it. I just do it instinctively. And if you start to implement patterns like that, then you will start to do them habitually as well. So with that said, guys, I want you to understand one thing is that if you behave as though you know your worth, that you know it. Now, you don't have to be fully committed to it, but you stand and you demonstrate to the world that I know my worth, then you won't allow anybody to take it from you. The people around you will see that you know your worth, and they probably won't even attempt to take it away from you. But until you stand strong in that worth, that beautifulness of you, all the people around you are going to push you one way or another because they're trying to stand strong in who they are too. So make sure that you stand strong in it. Know your worth. Don't allow anybody to treat you less than your worth. And that is when you stand in your power. And when you stand in your power, the people around you that don't want to see that, honey, they'll start to fall off. The ones that try to pull you out your power, they'll start to fall off. And the people that will remain around you are the ones that are standing in their power too. So, with that said, guys, go out here, be powerful beings. That's what you are. You are powerful creatures of amazingness. Go out here, make this week amazing, and make sure that you come back and check me out next week.